Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Success Shift. My name is Jake. It's a lovely Wednesday. You can't hear me? Okay. Some say you can, some say you can't. I can. Okay, so I'm not sure who said. All right, let's try that one more time. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Success Shift. My name is Jake, and I'm finally here. I had a couple of technical difficulties this morning, but I obviously am not alone. Things are back to normal. I thought my computer was done for, but we're back. We're rolling. I hope you're all having a fantastic middle of the week here on Wednesday. I know I am through all the chaos and turmoil that's been going on in my life. Some of you may know that my son's been really sick, and I got really sick, and I've had this wisdom tooth, and I've got lots of stuff on the go, business building wise, which is amazing. But my wife's being a bit run down, so it feels like chaos, but it's the perfect time to put on a smile and push through and realize all the things that you do have, because when you're in these times, it's very easy to let things get on top of you, to let yourself get run down, to beat yourself up, to think things are impossible, to let all of that stress and anxiety just pummel on top. And I find these times some of the best times to practice, well, what we're going to be talking about today, self-love, and practice gratitude, and do all the things that are good for you, and to really try and put that smile on in the hard times, because those are the times that make the character. Those are the time that build the resilience. Those are the times that really let the light shine through on who you are. I think it's quite easy to be, I often say this when I was talking about running, it's easy to go for a jog on a 20-degree day with a bunch of friends, but it's really hard to go for that jog, in the middle of winter when it's snowing and rainy and miserable and no one else is on the street. But those are the days that are going to create the character. Those are the days that are going to build the strength, and those are the days that are going to push you past everyone else. And the same goes for, when mayhem hits and when everything feels hard and tough, those are the days to continue to be positive and smiling. And those are the days to find the gratitude. And those are the days to really see the rainbow between the clouds, because that is what makes the character. And that is what makes, well, that's what I like to pride myself on. What makes me me is my ability to, even though I can have ups and downs, and even though I can have issues and all kinds of things happen, I like to be able to try and stay positive and see the good from the bad, the happy from the sad. So today, my gratitude really goes out to the simple things, in the sense of, I'm so happy that we've got a beautiful home here. I'm so happy and grateful that, even though we've been run down and sick, we don't have any terminal illness or anything really severe. A bug, a flu, all that can be managed. I'm grateful for the fact that I can go down to the street and get a plate full of food, and that I can have, if I really want to, have groceries delivered to the house, and I can, pop down the street and get drinks and, socialize and be in a very, very, very lucky place. I know lots of places and people in the world do not have that, whether it's war torn, whether it's famine, whether it's disease. A lot of people still living very, very hard lives compared to what I'm going through. My heart goes out to them, and my gratitude today is really for the little things and all the things that we do have, not the things that we feel like we're missing out on today. So chuck your gratitude into the chat. I'm going to have a quick flick through the chat here. I know people are chucking their gratitude in. You can see there he is. Yeah, sorry again, I was a bit late. I'm grateful for this community to remind me that perseverance is the ticket to success. Yes, it is. It's honestly one of the biggest things that I've been looking at the moment, is that the ability to persevere through the tough times. One step in front of the other with a focus on the goal will get us to where we need to go. Correct. I'm grateful for my grandchildren and being able to take them out for this last long weekend of the summer to the T-Rex Museum. Oh man, that sounds awesome. I want to go to the T-Rex Museum. Sounds like a fun place to be. Really. I love dinosaurs. Okay. Just moving on. I'm grateful for all the info you share in your podcast. Thanks, Brian. I really appreciate that. I really am trying to, honestly, I'm just trying to share what goes on in my head through my journey. I feel like I am a much more emotional person than a lot of people. I feel like the struggles that I go through, a lot of traders go through. There are some people who come in, they've got the right mental attitude. They maybe not as emotional. They have their shit together a bit more than I do, and they can come into trading and really, make it through and be quite successful in a pretty short period of time. And it really is as simple as that. or that's all it needs to be. But for others, we've got more shit to unbaggage. We've got other emotional stuff, and trading really is a personal development program. So if you've got more to personally develop, then maybe you're going to have a harder time. And I feel like even though I've been pretty grateful in my upbringing, I definitely have a bunch of the characteristics that maybe make it a little bit harder to learn lessons. And being young, male, egotistical, all that sort of stuff definitely adds to the challenges that I need to face and the life lessons that I need to learn along the way. And so my goal here is just to share them and share with you how I've overcome them, and share ways in which I've seen other people overcome them, because I talk to people all the time on my journey. Like, I'm struggling with this, like, how are you going? And I find that I'm having the same conversations with so many people. And when I do coaching, I'm having the same conversations come up over and over again. It's because humans are inherently very similar. We have instinctual behaviors that repeat throughout many of us. And the whole point of this is just for me to continue to grow and develop as a trader, and to continue to grow and share all the lessons that I'm learning, and try to dissect some of the way that I've been able to overcome these lessons and challenges, and just ideally allow you to hear them and see if they work for you. And that's why I come each week or each episode with kind of different outlooks, different angles, and different lessons, because when they all compile together, maybe one lesson might not work for you, but the next week it will really click. Or maybe something that you've tried, I speak about, you've already tried and it hasn't really helped, but then something else that I talk about actually makes you see that in a different perspective, and then that will be the thing that helps. So it really is a matter of just coming at this from as many angles as possible, because I always say mindset in trading is so hard to teach, because we are all so individual. We're made up of so many different past experiences. All the things that I've lived up to this date is what makes me me, and all the things that you've lived, that you've experienced, make you you. And so we need to actually input the idea of teaching mindset in a very broad category, where it's needs to be a bunch of different lessons and perspectives around those lessons, so that each individual can take from it what they need. And that's really my goal here at the Success Shift, and trying just to express my journey as it grows and develops. And it is growing and developing. I can honestly say that over the last few years, I can see huge growth in my trading, and it's come such a long way. And I can't wait to be sitting here on this exact same call talking to you about my 7-figure trading account and the lessons I got to take me from the 5-figure to the 6-figure, the 6-figure to the 7-figure. So today, I know we're really late on this, so I will see if I can get through all of it, but we may as well start. Today, I want to talk about self-love. Yes, that's right. You can see the red in my background isn't for anger, for being technically difficult. It's for love. It's for self-love, and the importance of self-love. And I say, and I think I just said it before, that learning how to trade is one of the biggest personal development programs ever, because it will pull out all the honest attributes about you. You can't hide from anything, because it's just you and yourself. It's not you versus the charts. It's not you versus the market. It's not you versus the banks. It's you versus you. And all that's happening is you're staring at a screen with lines going up and down. That is all that objectively you're doing. Everything else is how you interpret that and what you believe that to be. It's, oh, this is happening, this is money, this is news, this is the economy, whatever it is. But the harsh, like the blanket reality of it is you're just staring at a screen and watching lines go up and down. And that is it. And then you're putting your input and your perspective onto what you believe may happen. And then you're basing your decisions, well, not when you get to a disciplined state, but at the start, you're basing your decisions on what that movement in the line does to your emotions, and what it makes you feel, what it makes you think, and what it makes you predict. And these are some of the things that we need to sort of peel back. And we don't want to be predicting. We don't want to be like guessing. We want to be going, this does this, so based on my trading plan and probability, I'm going to do exactly this. And once we can get to that level, then I don't want to say there's no emotion, because that will make us unhuman, but there's very, very little emotion, and very little emotion that is needed in order to make us respond. Sorry. Okay. I hope that made sense. But the point here, self-love, we need to do that in all aspects. And the love we have for ourselves is going to help in more than just trading. It's going to help in every area. But of course, as we grow as a person, we're able to grow as a trader. And as we grow in respect and love for ourselves, we can grow in respect and love for the trading ability and the trading results. And so I wanted to go through a bunch. I've got 10 things here as to things that will benefit from practicing self-love, and how we can relate into the charts. And then I had a few ways in which we can practice self-love and really try to move forward with that. But I may have to break this in today and tomorrow, because we've only got about 10 minutes until we hit the charts because A, technical difficulties to start, and B, I like to talk. So self-love, okay? Having a positive and compassionate relationship with yourself and accepting who you are is extremely, extremely important, okay? We need to treat ourselves with kindness, respect, and understanding, and we need to play to our strengths and characteristics. I see far too often people on the charts, they may come in a neutral mindset, and then something goes wrong. Like maybe they make a mistake, or maybe they get emotional and accidentally hit the button. But then the self-narrative that comes after that, and I am guilty as hell for this, but the self-narrative that comes after that can be so negative and so nasty. And if you've had a losing week or a losing day, or maybe even a losing month, and then you make a mistake, how do you speak about yourself to yourself when you're by yourself is so, so, so crucial. What are the words you're saying to yourself? How are you loving yourself? Chuck some ones in the chat if you've had a bad day or a bad week or a bad month, and you've started to take a trade and it's gone in the opposite direction, and you have just let yourself have it. Oh, you're useless. Why are you always doing this? You're never going to get it. All this negative self-talk. I know that I did it horribly. I've spoken to a bunch of people that have also done the same. And I'm definitely not alone when I see other people. We've got some ones coming in the chat, and it's one of these things that we really need to like attack straight away, because this negative self-talk is so detrimental, not just to our charts and to our ability to trade, but it honestly will affect how you go about your day-to-day, what happens after the session, how are you feeling throughout the week, are you basing your self-worth on those trades, all this kind of stuff. And so this is kind of what I want to attack. And it's a hard thing, because we really want to be successful at trading, but the statistics show that so many people aren't, because they don't go through the process of learning themselves. And when you it's true that you need to keep trying at this, and you're going to have failures and you're going to have hard times, but you need to get up and keep going. But you need to get up and keep going with a positive attitude and positive self-love, because sitting here and beating yourself up over and over and over again is really not healthy on a bunch of different levels. And I really want us to understand and just become self-aware of how we are talking about ourselves and how we are behaving on the charts when things don't go our way. Sometimes you can have a couple of wins and you're on top of the moon, and if you're emotional like I was, the wins make you the happiest person in the room. For you leave and you're like, look at me, I'm amazing. And it's great to have that feeling. I think it's great to be able to be proud of yourself, but it has to come with ebbs and flows. If you can be proud of yourself but not beat yourself up, great, absolutely amazing. But if you are the best person in the world when you have things go right, but you're the worst person in the world when you have them go wrong, maybe we need to rein it in on both ends and just get to that level where we can accept the emotion that comes, but we don't let that become who we are. Okay, so I'm definitely not going to have enough time to get through all this, but so one of the things that we can do when practicing self-love, right, or not how to do it, but one of the positives of doing it is we get that healthy self-esteem. We know our self-worth. We start to become good with taking action, and it helps build confidence and resilience. If we love ourselves, right, if we love our ability, and it's okay to be wrong and look at yourself and go, okay, I need to work on this, or I need to do this. So that's still self-love, but it definitely helps with how we take action, the confidence we have, and the resilience. If we can pull ourselves and be like, okay, yeah, not a problem, have a laugh at myself, I can see where I made that mistake. Yeah, I know what I need to be doing and moving on. That's great for confidence. That's great for that resilience. And it's great for taking action in the future. Okay. Practicing self-love will help with our emotional well-being. All right. Strong relationships with self really do affect and create a better ability to handle negative emotions. And we all know how powerful emotions are on the charts. If we have that emotional well-being and we give ourselves self-love, then we're able to really look at ourselves and go, right, let's just bounce back from this setback. It doesn't really matter too much. Let's attack this quicker and faster and see how we can learn. Okay. And it really helps you feeling more if you're feeling more self-compassion for yourself, then you're going to be able to forgive yourself a bit more. Okay. So it's all one and the same in a sense, but as the more we do it, the more we practice self-love and the more we forgive ourselves and are able to understand that we're all part of a learning process and we're all growing and developing as traders as we go, the better off, our results are going to be, and the better off we're going to be in terms of our rate of growth and learning. Because again, when you're in that negative self-talking space and you maybe you have a bad session, most of the time, you're not going to want to sit there and do your self-reflection. You're not going to want to go through your trades. You're not going to want to call your accountability buddy. And all those things become so much harder when we're beating ourselves up. But to have a few bad trades and go, yeah, okay, well, now I got to go through and, I'm learning, I'm growing, like give myself a bit of a break. Let's see, how can I learn? How can I grow? Okay, accountability buddy, I'm feeling pretty shitty because of these things, but let's talk about them. How can you help me? How can I help myself? All these things, they add on and they compile to that self-love. And when we start to beat ourselves up, it really does become harder to do all those things that are going to be the things that make us grow, that are going to be the things that make us learn and move forward. So it really is a bit of a perpetuating spiral, and it can be going down or it can be going up depending on how we treat ourselves. Okay. Of course, self-love reduces self-criticism, that self-judgment. Don't be overly harsh on yourself, which is one of the main things that I'm talking about. Instead, approach mistakes and understanding with understanding and forgiveness. Like I was saying, understand you're human, forgive yourself, treat yourself like you would treat another loved one. If my wife was to make the mistakes that I made on the trade, I'd be like, that's all right. You can just do this and not a problem. But when I do it, it used to be that I would be like, oh, you're useless, you're blah, 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 blah. Now I'm like, Jake, come on, you know better than that. Let's have a look at that after the session and we can see why you were doing that again. Was that an emotional thing or did you miss something on the charts? It also creates healthy relationships. The more we love ourselves, the easier it is to love others. We're able to set boundaries. We're able to know our self-worth. We're able to make sure that we're looked after and not, I'm sure there are people in here, I know I was the same, who kind of want to do everything for everyone and put themselves last. Chuck some ones in the chat if you're feeling up to it, if you're one of those people and you're always putting others first, okay? Yep, there's some ones coming through. So I know there are a few people in here because I've spoken to them and I know that I was the same. And unfortunately, what happens when we're always putting people first, this can be really hard because it doesn't actually, it is good for others, but it's not good for others because we need to come and be there for others in a way that we're strong and not dependent, but strong and capable of looking after ourselves. And I often say to people who I feel used to be like, or who are like I used to be, that you cannot fill someone else's cup unless your cup is overflowing. Okay. So in order to fill up, and it's actually one of the, which one is it? This one? Nope. I think it's this one. The easiest way to make others happy is to completely fill yourself with so much happiness and joy that it simply engulfs those around you. Yeah, there it is. So it's about the self-love. Fill yourself up first. Fill yourself up with so much joy, happiness, and positivity that it just exudes out of you, and the other people around you cannot help but take that on. Okay. You don't want to be taking out of your cup and giving to everyone else, because a cup that's not being filled up has a limit. There's only a certain amount, but a cup that's overflowing and continued to being overflowed is almost limitless. You can keep feeding to other people, but if your cup's full and you're not looking after yourself, if you're not filling yourself up, then there's a limit to how much you can give. If you're continuously filling yourself up and just letting the overflow go to those around you, then it's limitless. Honestly, it just keeps going and going and going. Put your oxygen mask on first before helping those around you. Exactly. If anyone's been on a plane, you'll have heard that message. Put your oxygen mask on first, because if you don't, you can't help the others around you. Okay. Same thing. Give yourself love. Give yourself the things it needs. Give yourself the happiness and the compassion and the care, because once you do that, then things aren't going to be able to tear you down and you're going to be overflowing and be able to give to those around you. So if you're a giver, give to yourself first. Seriously, have that self-compassion, have that understanding of who you are, what your values are, and know your boundaries so that you can make sure that you're doing the best you can. And that is the best way that you're going to be able to help others, because I've been there where you try to give and give and give, which is great for the first little bit, but then it gets tiring, it gets exhausting. And unfortunately, this keeps compiling to a point where you can no longer give, you can no longer help. And this is also true for you on the charts. If you're prioritizing everything else and not prioritizing your time on the charts, you'll be okay with that for a bit, but then it will get to the point where all this other stuff is affecting your trading and you're going to be starting to think that you're not good at trading and all this self-worth comes, but it's just the other things that can be wearing you down. And unless you're filling your cup up first and making sure that you got full of self-love and that you've got your priorities set and your boundaries in place, then it's going to be really hard to really know where these feelings are coming from. Is it your self-worth depending on the charts, or is it other things in your life that are causing stress and anxiety and all these sorts of things? So it's really important. So the next one is resilience to external validation. So the more we bring self-love into us and the more we understand our boundaries and our values and our worth, then we stop caring so much about what other opinions are and what our own opinions are. And this becomes we've spoke about this a lot, intrinsic motivation, right? This becomes that intrinsic motivation where we start to live and drive and get our motivation and all our passion from within. And when we do that, again, it becomes almost limitless, because if we can find the intrinsic motivators to keep us going through the hard times, if we can find the self-love to pick us up whenever we have the struggles or the challenging times on the charts, then you become almost limitless, right? You can keep getting up every time, and you can do it with happiness and positivity because you're full of love, right? So there's a bunch of other things in here. We're only halfway through the list. We've got helping with better personal growth, better mental health, protecting your boundaries, enhanced decision-making, and fulfillment and happiness. And then I have a bunch of stuff on how to practice self-love. But because I have so much left and because we're out of time here, I think I'm going to be just continuing this on tomorrow. So we'll continue our conversation on self-love tomorrow on the charts. My apologies for being a little bit late, but shit happens. Today, I hope you have a great session. I'll be on the charts for a little bit. Make sure that you do have your journals out in front of you, like so, but open so that you can write them down. Make sure that you've done your brain warm up. Make sure that you've done your affirmations. Make sure that you know your environment is good. Make sure that your head is in the right place and there's nothing distracting you. Make sure you've done your lot size calculations. Make sure you understand your risk management. Make sure you do all the things that should be in your trading plan in order to get you into the right frame of mind for trading. And make sure that you love yourself a lot today, just because that's what we're talking about, and every day for that matter. But yeah, I'll be back tomorrow to continue this. To everyone listening on the podcast, much love. Thanks for your kindness and concerns for my family and care over this time where I've been away and a little bit absent. And I'm really looking forward to more of the growth here with all of you, and to hear some of the stories. I'm getting a few more people messaging me, letting me know how much these mindset calls are helping. I've got a few people messaging me, letting me know places that they're struggling, which is even better, because then I can focus on that, and that will help you directly. And I've got a few people messaging me, really sharing some of the stories and breakthroughs they've got. So if you do have those messages, questions, queries, send them my way. I love hearing them. I love getting those messages of gratitude, of thanks, and of please helps. They really give me purpose and direction. So lots of gratitude for everyone today, from my situation and for all the care that I've been getting in the last little bit. So I will speak to all of you. Well, I'll be in the call, but happy trading to my traders, and to those listening on the podcast, I'll be speaking with you again tomorrow. Okay, bye for now.